Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops. Alright, and enough respect to you brothers worldwide, teaching and preaching the doctrine of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, in sincerity and in faith. And the title of this video letter, this video lesson is, "This is coming to a city near you." So right now, so like currently in America, we're seeing it being set up, and we're seeing the stage being set up, eventually, being troops being in the streets. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this article. It's from the Wall Street Journal. And of course, when you scroll down, they want you to pay, which we ain't doing all that. We're not doing all that. We got enough information in this, little 2 paragraphs, and then get into the scriptures. So it said, T-Dog says he is ordering troops to Portland, escalating domestic use of the military, in which, you gonna see troops. The troops, that's gonna be a regular occurrence coming soon. See, because a lot of American citizens have never actively seen, members of the military, active duty military, out and about in a martial law sort of setting. A lot of Americans, period, haven't even seen members of the military. You have certain parts of America that don't have any military bases or anything like that, so that's not something that they're used to seeing. It says that he called the Oregon City war ravaged. It said soldiers would have authority to use force. Now, of course, we know that all hell can't break loose until the CHIP is made, it's made mandatory. It's made mandatory and it's implemented on a worldwide scale. Yet, we know by seeing these articles and different things of that nature, we know that that's coming right around the corner. We are seconds away from this. Alright, since T-Dog said he was directing the Pentagon to send troops to Portland, Oregon to protect federal facilities, escalating his push to deploy the military in U.S. cities, in which you gonna see all the branches. You're gonna see all the branches pretty soon. You're gonna be seeing Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. You're gonna be seeing all of that. This, because the military accounts for, I believe, 1% of the U.S. population. So it's not really a regular occurrence unless you next to a military base or around a military base. You don't see too much military activity. But very, very soon you're gonna be seeing troops in the streets. Cause anybody with half a brain can tell. All you gotta do is just walk out to your mailbox, and you liable to see something fucking crazy. And in order for them to control the people, they need troops to control the people. All right, especially as things get, worse and worse. Okay, because with Esau, it's about control. It ain't about protection. No, it's about control. It says Trump said in a post on Truth Social that he was ordering Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to use the military to protect immigration and customs enforcement facilities. Which, if they can do that for an ICE facility, then that means that they can, they can use it on, they can use the military on different, courthouses. Once again, these different facilities, these different FEMA camps. See, these FEMA camps are you're going to have military in them FEMA camps. You also going to have military, you're going to have troops out in the street. Anything that would be considered public, like public domain, public land, is going to be occupied by the military. See, because the military is, basically the sword, if you will, of Esau Edom. He gonna use them, to try to contain, the people here. If things get worse and worse, see, because the people here, they getting worse and worse. Okay, these motherfuckers are getting worse and worse. And they waxing worse and worse. People more bugged out. I was driving earlier. I just seen a, Northern Kingdom chick. She was just bugged out. She was like running in circles and shit. So like, then a couple hours ago, I saw somebody just running down the street full speed. Ain't know what was wrong. All I know is they bugged out. Shit. We seeing more and more, but so they're gonna have to contain the people using the military. You have a lot of Jakes that are joining the military right now. They ain't got shit else going on, so they decide, okay, well, shit, let me get a little money. Let me try to get a Hellcat. Let me get this. Let me get a place to stay. Let me get, So as things continue to get worse, you're only seeing more and more Jakes joining the military. And I forget which movie it is. I think it's either Boys in the Hood. I believe it's Boys in the Hood. Where, Jake said that, the so-called black man doesn't belong in the so-called white man's army. And the reason why he said that is because no matter who is in the military, you basically doing the so-called white man's bidding. You pushing his agenda. When you have rioting in the streets, when you have, and I'm laughing only because, you know, I'm thinking about Jake and how Jake is finna get down. Jake, you think Jake bad now? Jake gonna be on y'all ass, man. Two-thirds gonna be out here, dreads shaking, machetes sharp as a, you know, sharp as a tack. All right, they're gonna have vengeance in their eyes. All right, you gonna really learn what it means to be running for your life. And Jake fast as hell too. You know, in the spirit that this, you know, the spirit is focused right now on you Israelites and what you gonna be doing in these times, man. And hey, this is in all the news articles. All right, speaking on T Dizzle, you know, T Deezy, aka Nero, he got some tricks up his sleeve, man. He desires to see anarchy in the streets. He don't want no peace. All right, he wants you niggas to lash out so he can put his foot, you know, on your neck, man. He wants people to be, you know, protesting and all up in arms and tripping out. He wants that. He wants chaos. All right, he's the self-proclaimed white man. Of course, he wants, you know, chaos and pain. All right, because these troops, they ain't gonna be stopping shit. People still gonna be getting down. A handful of troops ain't gonna stop nothing. It ain't enough troops. Hell, it ain't enough police. You go anywhere now. You know, you might have one police, and you might have fucking 8,000 people. You got 8,000 motherfuckers for one policeman. You know, so they outnumbered at all times. You know, it's to the point now. 12 don't even stop for certain things. It used to be, you know, if you had a flat, you know, they'll pull up, turn their lights on, help put the motherfucker on. Or, you know, your car suddenly just mess up in the road, you know, they'll turn their sirens on in the middle of the street, hop out, push it. Now, shit, the police try to avoid all the drama. They ain't getting paid enough, you know, for all that extra shit. I see it all the time. I'll see a situation where I'll see the police and I'll be like, damn, surely, you know, they're finna stop and, you know, do something to help this person. Hell no, they keep driving. Here it is, you got a big ass truck in the middle of the road, just stuck, and the police drive right past it like they ain't see shit. And a lot of these, and I'm just speaking as a man, a lot of these policemen finna put the badge and the gun on the table, man, and say, I fucking quit. Right? Because it's gonna be too hard to handle. You're not gonna be able to stop all these wild niggas. Jake is crazy, and the heathen gonna be out here wilding too. All right, let's get a few precepts. All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Yeah, prophecy. Prophecy. It's prophesied for this bitch to go down. You know, that's why they howl. That's why they howling for this place right now. Right now. You know, they really want this place to be healed up. This place ain't gonna be healed. This shit is through. You can see, okay, T-Dog bringing different troops. Okay, these troops go over here. These troops. So it's already, we ain't going back to quote unquote normal. That shit is out of the window. You know, 2/3 want to go back to normal. The heathen one want to go back to normal, which it was never fucking normal. This place has always been odd, perverse, weird, angry. Right? Luke 21 and 23. But woe unto them that are with child and them that give suck in those days. Yeah, so when all hell breaking loose, the ones that you got a little baby boy in tow, you know, little man, Dada man, you know, you're gonna have these women that's gonna have the Sacagawea, you know, the little Sacagawea baby carrier on their back. You know, that's gonna be a whole thing. The Sacagawea baby carrier. They gonna have a blanket. You know, they gonna have the baby pressed against, you know, on their back or on their chest with the blanket wrapped around. You know, and you're gonna be running and shit. It's damn near impossible to keep a baby, you know, from you know, crying. Here it is, you trying to hide the baby crying and shit. So it's gonna be horrible. You know, having a little baby in that day, you know, that's gonna be a liability. And it reads, Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Right? So we have been led into captivity. We are the Israelites, you know, God's chosen people. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right? We being made subject to the heathen. That's all part of the captivity. That's all part of the hell that we catching, is that, okay, we're going to have to be held captive here. And the troops, they're going to come. All right, some of us going to be in them camps. You know, that's, hey, some of us going to, we gonna be in them camps. So once again, Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars. And upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity. The sea and the waves roaring. Yeah, these people, man, they gonna fucking lose it, man. They gonna lose it. Because you got all these different signs. You know, hell, every time we turn around, we got a super, triple, I'm just, you gotta have fun with this thing. Super, triple, a quadruple blood moon. And different type of, colors of the moon too. Pink, super pink moon. Super, black moon. So it's all sorts of indicators of the times that we are in. Yeah, Jake want a two-step. Jake want a line dance, boot, scoop, boogie, all that. Not looking at the times that we have, coming up ahead. There's going to be troops out here, man. Boots. And a brother had mentioned that, the song Boots on the Ground. There's going to be some fucking boots on the ground for real. And we ain't talking about just your average, donut eating, pencil pushing, paperwork type of Edomite. No, we talking real deal hitters. We talking about individuals that done caught a few. Okay, that done ran down on a nigga or two. Men who have proved themselves on the battlefield. Okay, this America, Babylon the Great, that's gonna be the new battlefield. Right? When they swore, they said when you swear in with the military, they say that you will battle threats, foreign and domestic. So it's already set up for you. If they designate you as the enemy, all right, and they coming after you and they designating you as the enemy, they gonna see it as them doing their job. And the average Babylonian just says, no, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. No, the Lord is going to put the spirit on them to do that. The Lord is going to put the spirit on these individuals to pursue and to push out, that martial law. Those lockdowns. These different things, they're coming. This on the way. We right around the corner from this. And as they have these different little, skirmishes, little things of that nature, Esau gonna come with the sea hip. He gonna say, okay, well, this is how we gonna confirm everybody's identity. This is how we gonna, this is how we gonna gather everybody up and get an understanding of how many people there are, who is who, what is what. All right, we need to have this sea hip, which is only gonna cause more chaos, more anarchy. Luke 21 and 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and their heart is really going into their mind. So their minds are going to fail them because of the fear. That's why you're going to have a lot of impulsive reactions to things. You're going to see people freaking out, spoiling each other, spoiling and being spoiled, for their different resources. All right, Luke 21 and 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. Yeah. So all these things that are going to be taking place on the earth, Right? And then also the chariots. Right? For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Woo! And these elite, they ain't gonna know what to do with themselves, man. They ain't gonna know what to do with this. They gonna be freaking out. Oh shit. Hey, they were right. In which the top level elite, the 1%, 1%. Within the 1%, of course, you got the doubters, you got some people that chuckle and laugh. Yet amongst the 1%, you got them hardcore. I'm talking about top level Edomites, the top international bankers. They fully know what's about to happen and what's about to take place. They know that, okay, they're gonna apprehend, the U.S. Citizen, right? They're gonna apprehend. They're gonna try to round up, and also, round up the men of the Lord. And they know that fits prophecy. And they also know that once they begin to do that, that's going to set forth more prophecy. It's like a trap door. You press the button to the trap door, and the trap door open. You press this button, and this door open. That door open. So Esau knows that by doing what he's doing, he's furthering these which he's not doing it. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing it. Yet the Lord is using this damn devil to continue to push that agenda, which is making prophecy continue to roll downhill. And it's only uphill. It's only uphill from here for the elect. Lord's will we be of the elect. Things are only gonna get better for the elect as things get worse for these people. Now, of course, finances are still gonna be jacked up. This, that, and the third. Yet, we are going to be strengthened through the Spirit. As the people on the lower and lower state, we're gonna rise up through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Alright, spoke about great fear falling upon those who saw them. Alright, because we're coming into the understanding of who we are, who they are. We know who the enemy is. Right? We know who the heathen is. We know who the 2/3 of Israel is. Right? Their characteristics. So the Lord is preparing us. Luke 21:27. And then shall they see the Son of Man, Yahushua, coming in a cloud, right? That chariot, that salvation chariot, with power and great glory. Yeah, so he's going to be in his full power. He's going to be, the scriptures say that he will not meet thee as a man. So the Lord ain't coming back just regular human being. No, the Lord is coming in an extraterrestrial fashion. Beyond this earth, beyond what any of these people can comprehend. Luke 21:28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. Yeah, so with the coming of our Lord Yahushua comes the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel. Alright, to be removed here out of Babylon the Great, aka America, so that it can be destroyed by thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. Because them warheads are finna get to popping. And it ain't just, 3, 3, 4, no, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Overkill, so to speak. OP. Jake like to say OP. That's OP. Lord gonna come overpowered, super mega overpowered. Luke 21 and 29, it says, and he spake to them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand, and through the Spirit it's hot as hell out here. Through the Spirit is hot. We in the summertime. We in the time in which prophecy is making these niggas sweat. You got them all out of sorts. Luke 21:31. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, right? Prophecy. When you see the prophecies coming to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is nigh at hand. So it's on its way here. Verily I say unto you. Right? And that can be verified, verified. That's for sure, that's for certain. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Yeah, so it's not like, we all just gonna go to sleep one day and then just we just go to sleep and a big ass asteroid hit, or some cataclysmic, the earth just split in half or some shit. Or the earth just drop, just drop at thousands of miles per hour or some crazy shit. No. We know what's going to happen. Okay? It says, heaven and earth shall pass away. Alright? Meaning the way that this current system is ran, and this earth and how it's currently ran. But my words shall not pass away. Yeah, so all the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which are faithful and true, they're not going to pass away. That's going to abide forever. The Israelites are going to be here and be perfect forever. Luke 21:34, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. Yeah, so fuck this place. Okay? And so that day come upon you unawares. Yeah, so we got to be locked in through the Spirit and be well aware, be constantly looking through the Spirit, constantly looking at the videos, doing lessons, watching out for prophecy. Luke 21:35, it says, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Yeah, it's a trap. And it's been set up in place like that. Because the whole earth is going to be affected by it. You think the Lord going to return and then only America is going to be affected? No, everything about this place is going to change. Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore. Yeah, watch for what? Watch for prophecy. Look at the news articles. Brothers doing different, video epistles. Things of that nature. Watch therefore and pray always. Yeah, praying for brothers. Praying for yourself. Praying for you. The scriptures speak about seeking your own salvation with fear and trembling. And also, praying for brothers. Right? It says, and pray always. Yeah, Psalms 51. Asking the Lord to deal with you, to keep His Holy Spirit upon you. Right? That ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass. Yeah. And how are you going to escape? By being beamed up. And to stand before the Son of Man. right? Being the elect, getting crowned, right? We strive for those crowns. Lord's will of the elect. And we know that. We understand that all these things are coming to pass. Prophecy is popping. Yet we know that just because he's sending troops, to this place, that place, we know that these are precursors to the CHIP. Once we see the CHIP come about on a worldwide scale, then the gloves coming off. Then prophecy gonna be snowballing. Which if you've ever seen a snowball starts off about the size of about, I'd say, a softball. Then it gets to about the size of a soccer ball or a bowling ball. And eventually, once that momentum gets to rolling on that snowball, that shit get huge. And it's going so fast that anything in its way is getting ran over, man. Prophecy is snowballing right now. It's unavoidable. The scriptures are unavoidable. Everywhere you turn, they talk about the scriptures. Or they talk about something pertaining to the scriptures. Or they talk about the Israelites. People don't even like saying black no more. People don't like saying black. People don't like saying white. Right? Because, hey, everybody hip. People know good and damn. Let me stop. People know good and damn well not to call me black, because they'll go to say it. They'll say, and they'll hit you with a byword, African American. But the word black, which is just as offensive. African American and black, it's the same. It's the same offensive words. Yet they want to avoid black at all costs. Because through the spirit, they know, okay, yeah, no, they ain't black. All right? And they've been informed. A lot of you heathens have been informed on who the Israelites are. All right? That's why you got these different videos of these heathens, which, through the spirit, some of them are Israelites. Because you got these different videos speaking on the Israelites, and it'll be a so-called, it'll appear to be a so-called white man, and he'll be saying, y'all are the Israelites, the Edomites are going into slavery. See, a lot of them are actually Jakes, and that's going to be revealed also as well, because the Lord is dealing with you according to your spirit. This ain't about skin colors. The skin color indicates, right? In a general sense, it indicates the Israelites, because, in a general sense, the Israelites are people of color, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yet, you have the speckled bird, who may look like the other nations, yet their line goes back to Israel through their father. And those different Jake, they're going to be catching hell too. They're going to be wondering, damn, why am I getting rounded up in the camps? Why am I going through this? Why am I going through that? It's going to be revealed to shit. You're an Israelite. That's why you catching all this hell. You got certain heathens, that you may have a town in China where you got some real well-to-do so-called Chinese, and then sprinkled in there, you just got some individuals there that are just fucked up. They just, they're different from the other, so-called Chinese, right? And a lot of times, like when you go to Japan, Indonesia, Laos, Vietnam, but specifically, I'm thinking of Japan right now. You go to Japan, they straight up Jake. You got some of them, they look like a so-called Hispanic, right? Yet, they live in Japan. You got some of them who look like a straight up Ammonite, And they're Israelites. You got them different, because them different guys are Jakes, man. Them different. So you cannot have that much flavor and be a fucking heathen. You got a lot of Jake spread all throughout the four winds of the earth, man. And that's going to be made known and made apparent in that day. We coming into that time soon. Now, it's not like tomorrow we just going to see boots all over the ground everywhere. Yet we're inching towards that. You know, we're seeing slowly but surely the implementation, you know, of the CHIP. You know, you hear little whispers about, you know, having a digital ID. Britain actually, and Lord's Will, I can do a lesson on that. Britain actually is requiring you to have a digital ID, which that's going to be set up, you know, at first be a digital ID. Then eventually it's going to go to the CHIP, you know, creating that database for your information. But then they're going to need to have somewhere to store that info, right? They got a whole database. They have a whole, you know, they have cloud computing. They have all this set up to have your information, you know, biometric, right? Measuring your life, everything about you, how you breathe in, your oxygen levels, everything, you know, full control. That's all Esau Edom is about. It's full control. Yet the Lord is going to crash in and save his elect. So with that, Lord's will, you are edified. Call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, once again, who rule well and teach well, from the elder apostle Tahar on down. Along with the sincere salutations to the elder bishops and enough respect to you brothers worldwide, teaching and preaching all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Alright, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Barakatham unto you brothers. May Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai bless you brothers, man. Keep pushing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. We almost up out of here. We seeing all the indicators that we are in them last moments, right? We are waiting desperately and eagerly. We are waiting for the CHIP to rear its ugly head. It's coming any moment now, right? Esau Edom is, he's drooling at the mouth for this control, all right? And we know that the biggest part of him controlling the masses is the implementation of that CHIP. We know that CHIP is coming right around the corner. And we watching for it. We watching for what's to come. Watching for prophecy. Right? And any day now, you know, we going to see that on the news. We going to see certain things popping up, speaking on that CHIP and it being forced, you know. They going to say, okay, well, you don't want to take it? All right, that's cool. Okay, you can't buy, you can't sell. Let me just end it with this last point. Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, he, Esau, Edom, causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor. So it don't matter whether you know, motherfucking Lionel Messi, you know, whoever, all these different big celebrities. No, you gonna have to take the CHIP, right? Rich and poor, free and bond. It's whether you locked up or whether you quote unquote, you know, free. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that's the CHIP. These different technologies that they've been coming up with and experimenting with, these things, it's all the research and info is already here. They ready to roll it out. It's going to get rolled out soon. All right, we right around the corner from that. All right, shalom. Salakia. We gotta go down. We gotta go down one. Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Yeah, so full control. And he gonna have the troops there. Your troops gonna already be in place. Okay, your ass ain't got the chip. Hit the road, dude. They're going to physically apprehend you. Okay? You're going to have people trying to get in to the stove with no C-hip. So who gonna stop that? Esau got to have his minions out on the street, boots on the ground. You know, you're going to be seeing troops. Seeing troops out in the streets is going to be a regular occurrence coming soon. All right, we right around the corner from that. All right, shalom.